Hello, my dear students. Welcome to this entrepreneurship class. I'm Miss Tania Poveda. Remember that it's very important you download this information on your computer so you can read, you can watch it whenever you need to, okay? So today we're going to start with a review about a sample and also about survey. This is something that we already studied last year, but I would like to check this again so you can remember and work later on your business plan as you've been doing. So last week we were talking about the profile of a client, right? So there are some characteristics you should consider when analyzing your market. As you know, market is a group of people, possible clients, right? So in a place, you have a whole population, or according to your product, you have a whole amount of people or possible clients. So when you consider everybody that can buy your product, you are talking about the whole population. Like, let's suppose that we're talking about a product that you want to sell, let's say in your neighborhood. Let's say you want to sell something in your neighborhood. And maybe in your neighborhood, you have like 300 people living around. The thing is that if you investigate the whole market, talking to each person and studying what they like, what they want, is going to take you a lot of time, right? So you probably remember that last year we were talking about a sample, which is a small amount of people that you consider from the whole population. Why do you do that? Because like that, you save time and money, and that amount of people or that sample is going to help you to take decisions in the future. So here I have the question for you to remember. What is a sample in a market research? It is a group of people taken from a larger population for measurement. The sample should be representative of the population to ensure that we can generalize the needs or wants from the population. Very important to distinguish the word generalize, because you're going to take a representative sample or a group of people that represents the whole population. So how do you do that? There are two ways. You can use this formula here and replace each of the factors, but that is something that I'm not going to explain now for two reasons. One, this is more related to statistics or to mathematics. So I'm pretty sure that your mathematics teacher, or maybe at university, your teacher of statistics can explain a lot better than me. So I'm not going to do that, but I want you to understand that there is a formula that you can use. Other way to do it, which is the one we are using right now, especially because of time, it's here on this link. Or if you can't get into this link for different reasons, because this information is going to be in your email. So you can open this PPT presentation and click here, right? Well, if you can't open this link for any reason, you can just Google like how to calculate sample size, and you're going to have like hundreds of links. So you can choose the one you can handle better, okay? So that's how you calculate it. Like this, using the formula or going on an online calculator. So far, that was the review about sample, something that you already know. Now, when talking about investigation techniques, we must know, or we must remember, that there are different techniques that you can use. It's very important that you choose the one that fits the best for your market. You know, your group of people or your targeting are going to have some specific characteristics, maybe the age, gender, location, etc. So according to them, you can choose, or you must choose, the investigation technique that fits the better. For example, that fits the best. For example, if we are talking about children, like little children, maybe between 4 and 5 years old, probably it's going to be very hard to use a survey with them. Or maybe to do a focus group or mystery shoppers because they are children. So it's kind of hard to handle that kind of investigation techniques. But maybe with them, you can use something like interviews, maybe talking to each of them, or maybe observations. You give them a toy or something to do with your product, and then you observe how they use it, what they say, if they like it, things like that. Okay, so the investigation techniques that we're going to review now are these 6. Surveys, interviews, focus group, observation, product testing, and mystery shoppers. So you probably remember some of them because we've been talking about them. And what it is important from now on, it's also that you recognize your market and decide which investigation technique you can use. Also remember, you have to consider a technique you can use with the size of your sample. Because let's say that your sample is like 3,000 people. It's a lot of people, right? So in that case, having an interview with each person is really, really hard and it's going to take you like forever. So in that case, you should consider doing other techniques. Okay? Or using this online calculator, you can move some of the factors and maybe the size of the sample can be reduced. That's like plan B. But plan A is choosing the best investigation technique that you can use with the size of your sample according to your market. You got it? Well, we're going to review each of them. And we're going to start with survey. This is something, as you can see in the picture, it's a set of questions. So you can investigate a larger population. So here there is like a common definition. A survey is a method of gathering information from a number of individuals, known as a sample, in order to learn something about a larger population from which the sample is drawn. Okay, so this is not new for you. It's a method, yes, it is. It's a technique of collecting information from individuals. From those individuals are known as a sample. In other words, it's not the whole population, it's a group of people. So there are 4 types of surveys. Maybe mail, that's a really old technique because nowadays, I am not sure if you receive mails in your house. I'm talking about envelopes, for example, or paper mails. Maybe you are more connected to online service or face-to-face service, like when you are in a mall and there is a person holding a folder and it's like, may I ask you some questions? And usually we're, no, I'm in a hurry, and you don't do it. Or maybe telephone service, when they call you to ask you like if you're happy with a product, or maybe after you call a company and in the end they ask you like, please stay on the phone because they want to ask you a couple of questions. That's telephone survey. What about the types of questions in a survey? Do you remember about this? Closed questions and open questions? You probably do, but let's review about them. So we have open questions or information questions. In that case, most of them have a W. And they are like what, why, how, when, where, which, etc. Because when you ask someone like, what is your favorite color? In a group of 20 people, you are going to have probably 20 different answers. Or why did you like your weekend? Why, what did you do on your weekend? You're going to have 20 different answers, right? So what's the difference with closed-ended questions? Well, there are two ways to know that they are closed. One is when they start with an auxiliary, like do, did, would, will, could, can, etc. Because in that case, your only answers are going to be yes or no. So, did you like the movie, for example? Oh yeah, I did. Or no, I didn't. It was really boring. So, in this case, I'm asking you like this, did you like the movie? And your only two options are yes or no. So you have limited options. It's the same with which, who, or when, or where. For example, let's say, well, I'm going to tell you examples later about this. But other way to know they are ended, closed-ended questions is when you have options. So, about examples, let's see. So we have W questions, but they are closed-ended questions. Why is that? Because here in the beginning, I told you, yes, they have W, so they are open questions, and then you have something like this. And you know the answer. It's because they have a unique answer. So if I ask you, which are the colors of the Ecuadorian flag? There are only three options, right? Only three options. There's no more than that. So in that case, it's a closed question, even it has a W. But if I ask you, like, which colors do children like? We're going to have like lots of answers. Other closed-ended question, unique answer. What is the capital of England? Obviously, the answer is only one. There is no more than that. That's why it's closed question. So about the colors of Ecuador, there is no more than yellow, blue, and red. That's it. Closed-ended question. What's the capital of England? It's London. Unique answer. That's it. Okay, so now you remember about that? Okay, other example. When you have options, you have different options. So here on the left, I have a group of maybe 20 people, and I'm going to have only 4 possible options, no more than that. So I can ask you, like, between these options, which flavor would you prefer? Vanilla, chocolate, pistachio? I don't like ice cream. I'm asking you which one you will prefer. Okay, but I'm giving you options. If, let's say that I'm not giving you options, I only say like, which flavor would you prefer? And then a line here. Then in that case, without options, we will have an open question. But because I'm giving you options, it's closed-ended. Here on the right, we have other example. I can ask you, how do you feel today? And then I give you 4 options, only this. And you must choose between the 4 of them. So that's it. And to finish this review, I'm going to explain you, maybe one more time, types of surveys. Okay, so we know that survey is a technique to collect information. Remember that survey is also a set of questions. What kind of questions? They can be open-ended questions or closed-ended questions. So before I told you about mail or postal survey. If you identify here on the picture, you see it's paper and pen, someone is writing something here, because mail was a very common way to ask people their opinions about their products. So usually, well, in the past, when you buy something, when you bought something in a store, or maybe when emails just started, like buying and selling products online, people used to receive the product with a piece of paper and a survey. So you could fulfill the survey and then send it back through the post office. So that was like a very good option in those days to know the client's opinions. Now, it's very common that usually you receive online service. You can do it even on your phone if you want to, right? So you only open a link and then you choose answers, write something, and send. That's it. So this is an example, like an online survey. And I'm just curious, what kind of questions do we have here? Look at the picture, read what they say, and tell me. Close it, right? Or not? Well, it's open and closed, but open because you can write, you can decide what to write here on these spaces, but closed because they are telling you the total must be up to 100. So they're giving you a limitation. So we can say it's a mixed question. Okay, this one, I chose this one because usually it's what happens when you go to a mall or maybe in the street. You have someone with a tablet and taking notes. I remember that once I was asked for a face-to-face survey, and I was waiting for paper and pen, and they gave me a tablet, an electronic tablet with internet. So they invited me to sit down and complete the survey there in the tablet. Actually, I enjoyed because I didn't have to be touching paper and writing anything. It was just only pushing on the screen. And that was really easy. So like the old-fashioned way was to do it on paper, but nowadays I know that people use a tablet and they just give it to you and you complete the survey just there. So it goes directly to their database. So we can say that was a combination between face-to-face survey, like we're seeing here in the picture, and online survey, because they were using electronic devices. Well, and finally, the other or the last type of survey is the telephone survey. Actually, it's the one I don't like among all the others, because usually I'm like, when they call, I'm working. So it's like I don't have the time they deserve for me to answer their questions. And that makes me kind of nervous. That's my opinion. But I do it when I call to any service company and in the end they ask me to wait so I can complete a survey, then I do it. Because usually it's also like 2 or 3 questions and no more than that. Like how you felt about the service, how you felt about the solution. Did you like the person who talked to you, the seller, etc. So in that case, it's like press 1 if it's yes, press 2 if it's no. So it's not that long, right? So there are some good things about that I would prefer. Well, basically, as you can see in the name of this type of survey, this is the survey that you do on your phone, telephone or cell phone. Okay, so to finish, I'm going to explain this because sometimes we confuse survey and questionnaire. And you are like, yeah, it's the same. It's pretty much the same. I don't blame you if you're confused because both of them have questions to answer. The only difference, and let's read this. In the simplest of terms, a questionnaire is a written set of questions. Yes, we have a set of questions, so it's a questionnaire. A survey, and this is like a little big explanation. A survey, on the other hand, includes not only the set of questions, but also the process. Here we go with the technique. Also the process of collection, aggregation, and analysis of the responses to the questions, while questionnaire refers only to the content. So, for example, when you solve a set of questions, like when I send you something on your Google and I say like solve the following or answer the following questions. Not only me, but other teachers. You are doing a survey or a questionnaire? A questionnaire, right? Why? Because in that case, we are not collecting, we're not analyzing the information, we're not going through the whole process of collecting data and create statistics. No, we are just going into the content. You understood or you didn't understand. That's it. So that's it for today. I really appreciate your attention. I hope that you have a wonderful day and see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.